Frequently, it's really about the journey. It's not just about an outcome like I want to lose 20 pounds. It's really the journey of being well and staying well and making it a lifelong habit.
I want to thank everyone for joining in. I am Judy Marie. I'm the owner of Miracles of Health. And if you would, please just hit the like button and subscribe, as this will help a lot of our listeners get information that they would not get otherwise. And today, wow, we have a real treat. We have a real treat with Christiane. Okay. And the name of your company is Hello Happy Nest. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so curious of the name. Okay. How did you even come up with that name a little bit? And I would love for you to share your background and your interest, because I know you're a life coach. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And you have several courses and programs that I'm going to ask you some more questions about, but I'm so fascinated to this journey you're on. And I'm very passionate about the path of helping many women in business, and that there are certain patterns that we do have. And you have been able to really hone in on helping women in a very unique way. So tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Christiane. Perfect pronunciation there. Absolutely loved it. And I live in California now with my family. I have 2 teenage daughters. I live in California because I work as a professor at the university here. And I teach innovation entrepreneurship as well as marketing. And I'm really passionate about those topics, which kind of tie in a little bit with my side hustle. So yes, my company is called Hello Happy Nest because I'm a firm believer that we need to be comfortable with who we are. And comfortable also means that we have that confidence that carries through by being happy and being healthy and feeling good from the inside out. So our very best nest is our body. And I studied foods and nutrition, have degrees in that area, and I'm very passionate about health and well-being, and really notice that if you take care of yourself, it shows on the outside, and it also shows in how you show up to the world, how you discover your own superpower because you learned a little bit about what makes you feel good. So I work also in fitness coaching. I'm a fitness instructor at the university, but I'm also a business and wellness coach, primarily working with females. And I have my own podcast that's called Happy Healthy Hustle, which shows we can be hustling, but we got to take care of our health and our happiness along the way.
So that's a pretty important balance. And I'm sure you kind of had some experience in running into this with women. And as you've mentioned prior, other moms. What have you noticed that women are really seeking? What women, just some of the things that could really help them balance?
So the one sentence that I hear a lot is, I've been burning the candle on both ends. It kind of encapsulates a little bit of what's going on. Or the one sentence that I also hear is, I have so many to-do lists, I don't even know where to start. This complete feeling of overwhelm. And the overwhelm actually leads a little bit to a loss of action. So no action means this to-do list really doesn't get any smaller. And at the same time, because there is no action, we start to feel fear of actually even getting started, because we are afraid that when we get started and we may be tackling one of the things on our to-do list, that we might not succeed with it. So there's the fear of failure, the procrastination, but at the same time, this complete feeling of overwhelm. And I would say that sometimes the overwhelm makes us nearly feel like frozen. It's the frozen fear, failure, all the F is going together to where we just feel like completely unable to even get started.
So obviously, all your years of working with people, marketing, women, all that you do. Let's say someone came to you, they're listening to this podcast right now, recording, and they came to you because honestly, they can't even think beyond a cup of coffee. Okay. They can't even think, what is it? How do you even begin with this? Because I see you have a variety of courses, which I want to go back to in a minute here. But like, where do you even start with people?
So you might have heard from my accent, and actually intentionally waited with this little fun tidbit. I'm actually German originally. So I call myself a business and wellness coach infused with some European flair. And I frequently use actually European words in my coaching, like ooh la la. And one thing that I use in my coaching, I call petite practice. From the word French, small, and practice meaning that we have to keep going. We are not really immediately skilled with things. We have to learn skills, and then eventually we're going to be better. So it's the consistency, the repetition that really makes us a master eventually. So it's small steps that lead to big results. So what I use in my coaching is exactly that. Maybe first having a brain dump and write down everything that needs to happen is step one in your tackling of your procrastination. And then step two is looking maybe at what is really the priority of the project, what needs to happen first, and how can we break down this very first priority project into small steps. Because believe it or not, for instance, I speak French fluently. And even though I never interact with French people on a daily basis, I use an app for that. And that means I practice maybe 5 to 10 minutes of French per day. Is it ideal? No, I could just go to France, right? But when would I go to France? I'm a busy mom. I'm working full time. So the 5 to 10 minutes of French practice per day, my little petite practice of the French language there, is actually teaching me so much that now I feel I'm nearly back at the level where I was when I lived in Europe. And I used to travel to France because it was just the country right next to Germany. So what I'm pointing out is all projects seem urgent and important, and they seem big and daunting. And that's really what this procrastination is all about. However, taking a look at it and being very honest with ourselves and breaking it down into these small little pieces, and then tackling a piece per day, or maybe a piece in the morning and another piece in the afternoon, eventually this project, which looks like this huge mountain, will become a hill that we just step by step we climb, and all of a sudden we're on the top and like, you know what, I did it. I can't believe it. I actually tackled it, and here I am. I'm looking from the top down, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. So that's really the main secret that I'm coaching people on, how to get to the top of that hill.
So you apply, just even if it's a small percentage every day, very similar to people who are being trained by you for physical fitness and nutrition, that nothing came overnight, nor will it shift overnight. Rarely. Let me just say that. I've seen some exceptions, but especially strengthening muscle tissue and, working with the joints, working with people. I mean, I'm not a physical therapy type of coach, but it builds upon itself, like you're talking about. If we don't start somewhere, if, take some action, nothing really stays the same. It gets worse, right? Or it gets better. I'll share a story with you. This happened a number of years ago. I love the ocean. Okay, just absolutely love the ocean. And there was a lady who taught yoga, Yolanda, I think it was, and it would be on the Hawaiian, somewhere, one of those beaches. She'd travel around. I laid in bed every morning at 6 o'clock, visualizing, watching her do yoga for a year. I did this for a year. Okay. Now I thought I would go ahead and try yoga, and quite a high intensity class that I went to. I threw my back out so bad. I mean, it was crazy. So I learned a lesson. You could watch it all you want. You could think about it all you want. But unless we take those steps, nothing changes. We just get the same results, which we're dissatisfied with, So you're helping women take action to reach some of their desired goals. And the results, like what, the feedback it's so fulfilling. It's got to just, I know for me, I'm forever stretching myself, on different things. But the fulfillment and the satisfaction is like, what's some of the feedback you get?
Yeah, this is great because I have so many testimonials, hundreds by now, of clients that I worked with. I call them friends, of course. A client sounds so sterile and businessy, and that's not how I build my Hello Happiness. It's much more about the warmth and the coziness that we are building, because at the end of the day, and we're going to talk about this later when we talk about my programs, it's really about the connection with the clients. So they reach out and basically tell me it's not really that you just taught me another thing. It's really the why. Because just like with children that keep on asking, but why? But why? We, at some point in our life, lose the ability to ask that question. And we just keep repeating the same thing over and over again, even though it doesn't lead to the desired outcomes. I sometimes have clients that I work with and they say, oh, I really want to get whatever abdominal muscles or arm muscles or something. And I do sit-ups every day. I just don't see results. Well, maybe you shouldn't be doing sit-ups, right? So that's sometimes we just need to look at the system you are using is not working. So let's use a different system, because whatever is happening right now is not leading to your desired outcome. So we actually need to tweak things. And a tweak doesn't need to be a dramatic difference. A tweak could just be, just as the word says, petite practice. Maybe it's just a little, what I call in my teaching, a pivot. Maybe we're going to pivot and structure it a little bit differently to see their outcome. So all of my coaching is based on, we're using very simple methods, very small steps, but we're going to see big results.
Wow.
It's like the moon landing, right? Small steps lead to giant discoveries. And it's really amazing, the feedback that I get. And you're completely right. It's so fulfilling and it's really heartwarming.
Yeah. So people can work with you even remotely on all these programs you're talking about. It sounds like you can even get fitness help remotely with you.
Correct. And it's actually, I mostly work remotely. It's like 99%. I have some clients one-on-one, but mostly it's remote, because that's another big advantage right there. That if you think about going to a meeting, getting ready for the meeting, driving there, being stuck in traffic, finding parking, it all adds up, even though it's your goal is to build your business, right? Which is what I'm helping people doing. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to make it as efficient. There's a German efficiency right there, as efficient as possible to get the most out of it, to be wherever you are and however you feel comfortable in joining in virtually. And of course, there's also access through a community board, which I'm using, as well as kind of a walkie-talkie device that I'm using. It's called Voxer. So there's Slack, there's Voxer, we're trying to really connect with people wherever they are. And if they have a question, with the goal that I'm going to make it as convenient as possible in tuning in and supporting you. So I'm really guiding women at their life's crossroads to where there is a path of safety and there's a path of, I'm not sure about. It might feel like it's not exactly known where we're going to go, but I'm going to help them to go down that path because they have some dream in their life. And I'm telling them, don't put it on the back burner, but let's go down that road and I'm going to help you achieve that dream, and not thinking, oh, I'm going to wait. Eventually I'm going to do it. Nope, we're going to do it.
Christiane, let's talk about mindset then, because you're bringing up some really good points that, like, women, they still have these dreams inside of them. They still have these desires, these ambitions. And yet they're waiting for the world to get better, or they're waiting for this to change in their life, or they're waiting for the weather to change. I don't know. There's so many excuses or reasons, but they're, as we are entering into a whole different phase and place with what's going on worldwide, I would love to see, what's your approach with this? When there's more fear, okay, when there's more, they're terrified to, okay, what will my husband say, or what will this person say? I'm sure you've dealt with so many of these variety of obstacles. I want to hear what you have to say, that your approach on absolutely smashing it and encouraging women, like, do it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And this is bringing up a really valid point, because it actually is the name of my company is Hello Happy Nest. So when you have a dream in your life, and it's actually, part one is you have to, and we all have dreams, but sometimes we don't even vocalize what they are. And it could be, you mentioned earlier, the yoga right there at the beach or anything, or maybe it's traveling to Hawaii or Australia or whatever, or maybe there's something else in your life. It's vocalizing the dreams and then really thinking that it's not just a dream that you do whenever. Maybe you put a certain age or transition in your life, when I retire or blah, blah, blah. But you actually start looking at your dream as something like, no, let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's not wait with it. So the approach that I'm really doing with my Hello Happiness is that we become very aware about our own superpowers. Because once you are aware of your superpowers, you have the confidence that you're going to go for your dreams. And the confidence will really get things in motion. What I always say is the emotion is something that the excitement, it's nearly like you're manifesting that it's going to happen because you're starting to believe in it. And you're like becoming your own best friend, your own bestie that kind of pats you on the shoulder and says, keep going. You're going for your dream. I know you can do it. And that is really the goal of the coaching. It's a mindset switch to where you're basically looking at yourself and you become aware about who you are and what your dreams are, and you're making a plan of achieving those dreams, not in 20 years or in 30 years, but you're going to accomplish them, and we're going to build the road to get there. And one of my programs is actually called Journey to Wellness, because we are building a journey to be well. And frequently it's really about the journey. It's not just about an outcome, like I want to lose 20 pounds. It's really the journey of being well and staying well and making it a lifelong habit. Those petite practices, instead of saying, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. And then maybe you lost, 18 pounds. And then you give up again on it. That's not the goal. The goal really is to adopt habits that work for you and that you can keep, and that will actually, in the long run, then maybe lead to the 20 pounds. So I call these action goals instead of outcome goals. An action goal is something where we're using habits, and those habits lead to maybe the desired weight loss, instead of saying, I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to do it. you tell me how to do it. That's not really the goal of the coaching. The goal of coaching is to figure out who you are, what works for you, and then make it so it becomes something that you can adopt in your day-to-day life. Like, for instance, some people are not morning people, so I would never tell them, let's create a morning habit. They're like, I don't like morning habits. Well, let's not do it then.
Yeah, you really, sounds like tailor make it very specific. You offer something that's very rare, I want to say, in your coaching because of your background in health, in nutrition, holistic wellness. I mean, working with these different paradigms that you're talking about shifting, you have a lot of experience in what you can suggest and help to people. I don't often see that in other coaches. It's pretty specific. Maybe they want more prosperity, maybe they, their dreams, their goals. But unless you also believe in health, good nutrition, or the body's ability to heal itself is phenomenal. When you start making these changes, like you're talking about, setting these goals and, setting the, making a plan, you got to make a plan and then put the action to it. It does change every cell in your body. It does. It rewires your brain. It changes, every result, that starts to happen from that point. And it might not initially be real comfortable. It's like detoxification, right? Moving toxins. It might not be that comfortable at first. And then people want to quit because they feel, oh my gosh, that was too painful. Or, oh, I got a headache. Or, at least that's been my experience, in working with health, nutrition, detoxification. Or if people don't reach the goal in 1 week, this isn't working for them. Like, what are some obstacles that you do run into, but yet those are also opportunities to keep, rising above these old paradigms?
Yes, I have two sayings that I use a lot in my coaching.
Okay.
The first one is, we're going to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, think about this analogy with the crossroads. So women at a crossroad looking down the safe path, maybe the full-time job, the full-time career that she doesn't really love, but she's just doing it because it's safe. And she's looking on the other path that has her dream tagged into it somehow as a mile marker at the very end of that road. And she's not sure how to do it. And it doesn't really look comfortable because it's a path she has not taken yet. So we need to change the mindset to go down the path. And there might be little potholes we're going to step into. We might even twist our ankle because we don't know this road. And nor do can we look up and Google it. There is no map for it because nobody has been down that path. And it's you individually taking the path, but I will help you and guide you. So if you twist your ankle, that's that uncomfortable feeling that you might get. And you need to look at it as your own unique way of getting where you need to be. Maybe in between, the twisting of the ankle means you're going to sit down and you're going to think, and you maybe need to stay just where you are, and then you're going to keep going. So what I'm basically helping you is, first of all, we're not going to twist ankles. And second of all, what we're going to be keeping on doing is we need to appreciate sometimes little setbacks as teaching us that's actually an experience. We're not going to label as failure as being a negative, an experience that teaches you, okay, so that's really not how it should work. There was my own unique way of learning where I need to go and figuring out that that wasn't the right way. Cool. So good. You probably played games where you walk down with your little play figure and you're like, okay, well, I'm turning around, blah, 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 and you just go the other way. So that's so important in life because that's really how you build in your mind these connections between your creativity and your strategy right there, because you're starting to think of other ways. Oh, you know what? A few years ago, I did it this way. Maybe I should go back to that. That is really when we're going to see the most growth, that growth mindset that we're building. We're not fixed. We're not doing the same thing every day. but we are looking into how else could I do this? Because no amazing inventor ever created something and sold it on the next day and it was like the next best piece. And you mentioned this earlier. There's no overnight success. It's really, we're learning from the fear and the failure and pushing past it when we see the most success. So that's the first saying, right? Being
Yes.
comfortable with uncomfortableness, right?
Okay.
And then the second saying goes right in with the fear part. I always say the fear of failure will crush more dreams than actually going for it. So being afraid of failure will crush your dreams way more than just going for it. So this saying of just do it, it's so true. Even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, just going for it is actually going to reach your dreams because you are taking that first step, and that first step is sometimes the hardest, but it will definitely lead you closer to your goals. And just sitting inactive on the sidelines and thinking, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, like a flower. Should I not? Should I not? No, you're actually shoulding. Yeah, we are going for it. And we are eliminating the word should anyway. It's not part of our vocabulary anymore. We're just going to do it. Okay?
I like that. You're bringing up a couple other ideas here. You mentioned the word safety, okay? That for people to feel safety, which kind of goes along with fear, I would think, when they start making these changes. And then I was reading a little further about some of the work you do. You really help women with self-confidence, self-esteem, so that safety and that fear component that a lot of us have, okay, for whatever reason, there just comes a point in your life. Do you want to keep it, or do you want to, transcend it, and learn to work beyond it? So the working with women with self-confidence, self-esteem, I'd love to hear your input about that a little more, because that's big.
Yeah, and actually, I love that you're bringing up the fear and the self-confidence. It's all kind of connected. And it frequently happens when we go through transition, which we are always going through some transition in our life. It's really something that I see a lot when there might be a transition, like maybe you're adding children, or maybe you just got married, to where all of a sudden your role is redefined and you're trying to figure out, who am I really in this right now? So now I'm a mom, and that means my children come first. Oh, okay. So maybe I'm just going to put myself on the back burner, and there goes your confidence right there. Because all of a sudden it's like everybody's needs. And then it's like, oh yeah, and that's true. I only made food for the children. Oh, well, I'm just going to eat their leftovers, right?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're bringing this up. I used to do this for years, okay? And really the majority of the women I work with and have worked with for years, same thing, okay? And when they get to turn 18 and they're out of the house, or they're at this point, or when this happens, then I'm going to start taking more time for me. And I remember this as one of my early on teachers, really big into self-care, of locking the door, having the 2-year-old bang at the door, bathroom door, while I was beginning to teach them that I can take some time to myself. You're really touching in a big area here for young moms or single parents, whatever it is with women. I remember the first time I even bought my first nice nightgown, okay? And all the guilt around that, because at that time years ago, my kids we were on food stamps. I was living in government housing. And my one counselor at the time, because my self-esteem was so low, she gave me a task to do. And, you would have thought I was, I don't know, stealing or something. I wasn't, but being able to oh my gosh, come to a place of, no matter what the age is, no matter where you're at, in that you could work with women on meeting them there on how do we get a little of that self-care going, and not wait until you're retired. Okay. Not wait until whatever. I would love to hear more about that.
You're bringing up a great point, and I would say that's probably the number one, I don't want to say issue, but maybe let's say pattern. Pattern
Okay.
sounds positive, right?
Yep.
That I'm seeing where, again, there are those dreams, and it's so important to have the dreams. It could even be just the dream of feeling confident and strong, where there isn't even like a material thing that you can necessarily purchase.
Yeah.
What I really coach, and I mentioned it earlier with the testimonials, is like, why do you want to feel this way, and how do we get you there? So the confident and strong might mean that, yes, if you look at purchasing clothing for your children or even purchasing food, you need to also take care of yourself. It's just like in the airplane when they say you're going to take care of yourself, you're going to put the air mask on, and then you take care of your children because you want to be a better mom, wife, partner. If you have children or not children, if you take care of yourself because you are appearing as a role model, of course, to your children and to the people around you, whether that's in your professional life or in your private life, when you are feeling confident and strong. So that's the big why. And once you are in tune with yourself and you found your superpower, you are a completely different human being of inspiration and power right there. And what I want to actually say is, I've heard it so many times to where people come to me and I'm asking them, like when I meet them, I'm like, all right, so when was the last time you worked out? And it's not uncommon to say, I think I went to the gym like 18 or 20 years ago. Not uncommon at all. Nope.
I'm curious with you. Okay. You come from a background of really hard workers. Okay. I have friends in Germany, and I'm mostly German myself. And you've learned how, at least how I grew up too. I mean, you work hard. You start in the morning early, and you just give what it takes. I'm really glad I have these good work ethics, but it comes to a point of balance. But what's been so ingrained for so long, how you yourself, how have you been able to balance that, move through that? Because I'm sure that's a big part of you helping so many people that you are.
Yeah, actually, I have a freebie today that I'm going to give out to the audience.
Okay.
And it's 28 petite practices to improve your health today. So I will give that out to you. And they are European inspired, and they're super fun. And it basically teaches you a little bit about how people in Europe take care of their health. And not necessarily expensive or complicated or everything. It's small habits, petite practices, right? So let me, for instance, give you one example from Germany. When we come home from work and we open our front door or we enter the house, we take out our house shoes and we put the house shoes on. We leave the work at the door. And that starts with your outer shell, right? Your coat, your shoes, you wash your hands. And now think about what I just described to you. Yes, of course, I described to you that I changed my clothing, but it's much bigger than that. It's actually leaving your work at the door. Whatever you just dealt with from 8 till 5, when you arrived at your home, at your nest, you transitioned. So think a little bit about the United States. We're well familiar with Mr. Rogers and how he entered on his show and how he put on his little cardigan. And then he said, here we are. And that's kind of like what a petite practice is all about. So petite practices are there to reach your goals all along while supporting how you can weave wellness into your day. So I'm a business and a wellness coach, and I'm going to teach you how to do both at the same time. And like this little thing right there taking off work clothing, putting on comfortable clothing, wearing house shoes at home, or maybe socks or fuzzy socks, anything is such an important step to realizing that, oh, I'm at my home now. I'm going to transition into the mindset of home relaxation. So maybe you put the lights in a comfortable setting, and maybe you put some candles on, maybe some essential oil diffusers. Maybe there's another habit you can stack onto coming home that I'm mentioning, the candle, the lights. And that will then over time create this little, I'm looking forward to going home. I'm looking forward to taking my shoes off and putting my comfy cardigan on, the Mr. Rogers cardigan, and putting the candles on and the light and all this. And so you see what I'm creating is I'm creating boundaries that as women, we are so hard to create ourselves. Everything is just like this long, like stretched out chewing gum that's just like, it's like sticky everywhere or something, like to-do lists. And what you need to do is you need to say, all right, I'm at home now. Here's my boundary. I'm leaving that at the door and that and that and that. And I'm going to worry about it tomorrow because guess what? It's still going to be there tomorrow. It's not going away, but right now it's just going to stay right there because I need to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. It almost flows better anyways when you switch your attention, to something else. At least that's what I find, and what I'm doing too. Oh gosh, that would be great. So you'll be offering that to people, and that is some very valuable tools. Now, I want to talk with you about something else you do. I am just so passionate about, but I would love for you to explain to anyone listening, what is a mastermind group? I mean, so this is key.
Oh, yeah. So in a mastermind, the main goal is really that I'm coaching you to reach your business goals. And very importantly, in my mastermind, actually have wellness videos, recipes, tips in there as well. So it's not your traditional mastermind of like, oh, let's get down to business. Let's just kind of grind it out. As I say, I'm still using my petite practices, helping you reach your goals. And I'm going to be your guidance, so to speak, in infusing that European flair in getting there. So there are meetings where you basically bring your goal to the table, and we're going to break down your project into accomplishable steps. And I'm actually also, of course, using like a little contest. So I always create challenges in the mastermind where I'm basically saying, all right, so what's the one project you're going to tackle this month? No, I don't want to hear about 5. 1. We prioritize. Remember, we wrote down all the projects, the big brainstorm, and now you need to pick one. And we're actually going to do that one. We're not going to do 5. We're not going to be like, oh, I'm nearly at the finish line, but then there's this thing over here. We're not going to do that. We're going to go from start to finish the one project. And if it takes you longer than a month, that's all right too. But we are going to work on seeing consistent progress. So the mastermind is really there so that you, at the end of the day, you feel I adopted a system in getting things done, in really seeing that I can do this and feeling that confidence because you created something unique that is just yours.
So the mastermind groups, at least ones that I have been in, there's more than a couple people. Like it's collective consciousness. And like you can feel that, when you tap into, think of that term, mastermind, just like you used a term earlier, what was it, the term you used earlier?
Superpower.
Superpower. Okay, that's what we're a part of. That's what we can tap into. And that you're working with women, on a mastermind level to reach their potential. So people who've never ever experienced a mastermind group, can you just like take them through a wee little bit? Because I really think everybody should try this. I really do. It's powerful. It changes things.
So you're bringing up the point that we kind of had hinted at earlier during this wonderful episode here today, which is the connection piece. So one thing, in
Oh.
addition to the fear of failure, that is a pattern that I see a lot, is
Mhm.
also this feeling of isolation. And it's actually, I think, one of the biggest issues we have in society these days.
Mhm.
The feeling of isolation and the feeling of not being connected, and how hard it is to find friends, and how hard it is to talk to somebody that actually pays full attention to you, right? This ability to listen, we are kind of losing because we're so distracted and trying to multitask that it's so hard to have somebody that actually pays attention to us. In a mastermind,
Mhm. Mhm.
we are building connection. So that's step one. So multiple people coming together, everybody has their own individual goals. And step one is always we're going to determine your superpower. So there is a meeting describing the system, and then basically we are using it as like, now you have some homework to do. Discover your superpower, and I have handouts and workbooks and videos that guide through it. And at the next meeting, then let's see what we discovered. So at that discovery stage comes the next C, which is collaboration. Through figuring out, oh, these are individuals' superpower. That's absolutely amazing. The connection actually then starts to build little, when you think about a cobweb, little ties between us. And in research, I call it actually social ties, where there's nodes, and the nodes are the people that you connect with. And I frequently play games. Like I say, I build challenges. I gamify the whole mastermind because I think that deep down we are children. We like to be incentivized to do certain things. So I don't just say, all right, here's your homework, but I actually give out prizes and points along the way for completing little challenges. So then at the next meeting, we have more idea about our superpowers. We start to figure out who these amazing people are, and they give us feedback about what they have been observing, what they have been learning. So the connection builds the collaboration. And then the third C is the community. So eventually you feel like you're just joining in with a group of amazing people trying to reach their goals, their dreams. You're connecting with them, you're starting to collaborate with them, but you're also feeling you're part of a community. So it's nearly like entering a house of a good friend and feeling like you're at home and you can be who you are. And that's really then what will happen, that over time you are learning who you are for life. And the goal really is that those superpowers then will allow you to achieve your dreams. And we are all cheering you on. Your community will be right there for you.
And oh gosh, thanks for sharing that, because it's amazing coming out of, or you brought up a term, isolation, that so many are just in this comatose place, and they're pulled back, and they're slowly shrinking within. And being part of a mastermind group, you've great information on your website, by the way, on this. I really want to encourage women to at least contact you. Please be a part of this. This is like really important. And that we can, when we make such a difference in our own life, day to day, and engaging in something like that, you want to share that with other people. This can absolutely make a difference on this planet, having these mastermind groups. And it doesn't have to be, hundreds and thousands of people. It's amazing what a handful of people could do of shifting within themselves, and that encouragement that you do for the community, and what you are offering, through your different courses, mastermind groups, women, is tremendous. And if you want to share a couple more things on some of the courses that you do offer, it's absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah. So in the mastermind, there are resources, and the resources are following my petite practices idea to where none of the videos are even 10 minutes long. They're all digestible. And if you don't want to watch the video, which actually is super fun, so I use lots of little GIFs and lots of little intersections that are super fun, the transitions in there. You can also listen to the audio. So you could listen to the audio while you may be driving home from work, a 5-minute video, anything like that. And then, of course, I have planners, petite practice planners that allow you to structure your day and to really see where can I maybe squeeze out half an hour to start a writing project. Maybe you want to be an author and you've harbored this idea forever and ever, and you're like, I just don't have the time. I'm going to do it when I retire. Well, why not today? Maybe half an hour of writing per day. If you think about that, how it accumulates at the end of the week, the book will come together, but it's certainly not going to come together if you wait 20 years, because in 20 years, you might not even want to do this anymore, right? Because you're like, well, now I'm tired and I don't feel like it anymore. But now you have the energy and we're going to all cheer you on because we can't wait for this book project. So everything is broken down in small, accomplishable steps. And then, of course, it's so important that the community makes all the difference in there. So there's, as I mentioned earlier, there are 2 media components that go in there. So the Voxer is kind of a walkie-talkie where you can leave messages, but you can also send little clips of yourself or take pictures with it. And then Slack is another channel where you can post, for instance, weekly wins or your goals, etc. And I'm using that too. Yeah. I'm trying not to have social media too much, because when, for instance, if I were to say there's a Facebook group, we go to the Facebook group for the mastermind, but then we get sucked into Facebook of cat videos and who knows what. So I'm trying to keep this separately because we're trying to make it efficient and not distracting, right?
I find that so encouraging, really. Just that you are offering it on that level is very inviting to me, Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And of course, the amazing part about it is that if you are joining a community like that, it nearly is something to where you can grab your coffee or your tea and you're hanging out with friends. It's bringing a smile to your face because you have that date on your calendar and you're like, oh, now I'm going to join my mastermind right here. And it's making an appointment with yourself, because you are building the social structure in your brain, you're building your network of amazing collaborators, but you're also feeling you're part of a community that you're going to without actually ever leaving your home or wherever you want to join the community.
Wow, this is so great. And how much interaction do they get from you?
Yeah, so the Voxer is really the one piece. It's the walkie-talkie piece where they can always have access to me, so to speak, leaving little voice messages. It's actually quite fun because I have that German accent and I have that kind of high energy that I can frequently send voice messages instead of just sending text messages or email. You actually hear my energetic, upbeat voice, and that sometimes already helps. I get this all the time to where people say, oh, listen to your voice message in the morning, and it brought a smile to my face. So that is really important, that access piece right there, where you get the little Christiane human interaction at the tidbits of your phone or however you want to access Voxer right there.
That is really neat. Oh, I just love the work that you're doing, and it's so beneficial to women, and you work with women all over the world. Okay.
Yeah. And that's fun too. Like, for instance, I put out a lot of recipes on my blog, on my website. They're all free. Please go there and check them out. And frequently they're inspired by people that work with me, because they say, oh yeah, I'm gluten-free. So I really wanted to try these Oreo balls, but I wasn't really sure how I create them, etc. And there are gluten-free Oreos, believe it or not. You just have to look for it. And then I basically create a recipe based on the input of the audience. And now I'm smiling because I'm thinking, in addition to my 28 Petite Practices ebook, I'm also going to share the recipe for the Oreo balls with you, which was one of the most famous recipes on my blog, in addition to the chocolate chip cookie recipe. I make cookies every year for my students. Every one of my students gets cookies. It's quite the undertaking right there, but now it has been a tradition. And I'm very cherishing it because I think that small little things, again, the petite practices like bringing cookies for my students, makes such a difference in their life because they don't expect it that a professor brings them cookies, but it brightens their day in a small, meaningful way. And at the same time, it's just something that shows you that, now let's think, who needs something today that I could maybe pass this momentum forward? Yeah. Can I make cookies for my neighbors? Can I maybe reach out and see whether anybody wants to bake with me? Alone, the act of baking is already a super nice social community building. So that's really the goal, that I'm using this, and I'm basically practicing what I'm sharing in my mastermind.
Oh gosh, I love this. What is the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, so check out the website, hellohappynest.com. Would love to have you join the mastermind, of course. And then find me on social media at hello.happy.nest, and check out my podcast. It's called Happy Healthy Hustle, available wherever podcasts are, Happy Healthy Hustle. And I would love to connect with you. And on my website, there's also the ability to send me a direct message. And of course, when you grab those 2 freebies, the recipe as well as the 28 Petite Practices, there's also my contact information in there.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness. It's just so exhilarating meeting you. It really is. And I just honor all the work that you're doing and reaching out and helping women now more than ever to be their most inspiring, powerful self, utilizing their gifts, their talent, and activating their dreams. You know, it's almost, I know for myself, as I continue to progress on in life, I just get more and more ideas, you know, more things that I want to create, more things that I want to do. But it took having some experiences of coming out of some quicksand, you know, before you know it, you're slowly going down, and people reaching you wherever they are at in their life. If they're feeling stuck, this is a good place for them to get some help, like right away, you know, at least a plan of how to start moving forward.
Yeah, I love the quicksand comparison because it's sometimes we get so complacent with what we are doing and where we are that we don't actually even feel we can dream, because we're feeling that the dreams will create more stress on our lives because we're already struggling as it is. Yet, if you think about, you know, your life, and maybe it's colored kind of blah, gray, dark colors, etc., the dreams are actually what are going to add the color to it, because the dreams are really what keep you going and what make you growing, your mindset. It's kind of like reading books, how you are broadening your horizon and your mindset. This is what dreams will do for you. They are going to be the fuel in your daily grind, so to speak. So please keep dreaming and don't think you're ever stuck. I would love to help you.
I love that. And thank you so much for joining in with me today. And I look forward to more interaction with you. I will be in touch as well. And keep doing what you're doing. It's so needed and it's so awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and there's a special founders right now with a mastermind where I would love to share that with you too, for anybody interested. So please contact me about that. But I'm running a special because my podcast just turned 1 year, my Happy Healthy podcast. And so I'm celebrating the anniversary of my podcast that I started recording on my phone, not knowing what I was doing. And 1 year later, now it's ranked the global top 1.5% and listened by so many people all over the globe. And so I'm sharing that anniversary piece and running a special on my mastermind. So I would love for you to check that out and join this fantastic group of strong women.
Oh my goodness, Christiane, this has just been a real gift. And thank you so much for all that you do and whoever you are, of just letting your light and talent shine.